Okay, so this is a demo of a new Vault that I've just been working on, which actually contains a whole pile of really powerful features that actually I wish I had in my other chats that I use, and now it's getting really there. So this is fundamentally just a chatbot. In the beginning, you can see I'm using Mistral. You can actually use multiple models here, but let's go with Mistral first. And one of the things that's really powerful about this is that I've mapped out a whole series of tools that he has access to, and there's a file system that he has access to, which I'll show in a second, which is also part of the Vault. So let's say, for example, I can go here and says, what files can you see, right? And he was going to do a file. So this is this is basically the tool that got executed, and then the tool returned the files. You can actually see also here the audit of the tools. There you go. That's all the files that got received on this tool. And then there's explanation, right? You got some root files, directories, etc. But also the way this is also done is done through skills. So we could also say, what skills do you know, right? About, and what this is allows us to be incremental on the type of capabilities that he has. So it depends on what you're doing. We only load the skills dynamically, right? So you could see the skills that he has is about Vault managing, writing files, previewing files, managing memory, and how to use, right? So that's the flow. And we can actually see in the context here, that's how much tokens get sent, right? Because we don't need to send all the tools all the time. And this, in fact, the skills discovery is very powerful here because it basically tells you how to get more capabilities, right? So let's take a look at some of the things here. So we got this this POCs folder here, right? That let's take a look at it, right? So can you find what files are in the POC folder? And basically, this is now going to do a list of POCs, and you're going to see we've got the README, POC 1, POC 2, right? So, and now you can say, great, can you preview POC 2? And what's going to happen is there's a window here that we can do, right? So you can see. Now, what's really powerful is I could also send a screenshot. So I can say, hey, and I can go, and I just paste it. Here is what it looks like, right? And you basically, now you can see that Mistral actually understands images, so you can see no effect, and which is this one here, new effect, and then all the stuff. So now we can even say, hey, can you modify it, right? Yes, can you make those changes? So what's cool about this is now you're going to trigger. You could see trigger 2 calls to read that, to trigger to read the CSS. So it's now load the CSS into here, and is going to basically create a tool for the POC2. So this is basically the HTML being received. Once this whole is received, it's going to be transformed into the commands to execute. So in principle, so you can see that's the command, right? Action, VS write, params, path, etc. And that's the content. So once that message is finished, it should now actually trigger the calls. And you can see. So now what actually is happening in this particular case is we actually have the changes have been staged. So we actually could see here the stage. So I can actually commit to the Vault. There you go, my 2 changes. So I'm going to, there's the update 2 files. So I'm going to commit it. And that is now added to the Vault, right? And in principle, if you now say, can you preview, there you go, the committed files have been submitted. Can you preview the files, right? And now we get to see the new POC, which we should see. There you go, right? So you can see now there's now a button here that it shows, right? So you can actually see it made it interactive, right? So you change, how it works, which is pretty cool, right?